Well, it's very good news, Kunvina, that many parts of Bangkok are now dry from the flood situation. That would include in the Ayutthaya province as well, as the province, one of the two most flooded provinces, will today begin a concerted effort to rehabilitate its 5 industrial estates badly damaged by the massive floods. Witthaya Phewphong, the provincial governor, said officials from the labor, industry, and public health ministries will join forces to help factories return to their normal operation as soon as possible. The Bang Pa-in industrial estate will be the first where authorities will work with the private sector to pump out the remaining flood water so that factory operators can come in to restore their manufacturing facilities. He said the multi-agency effort will cover all 5 industrial estates in the province, including Rojana, High Tech, and Saha Ratananakhon, as authorities expect to complete their rehabilitation plan on December 16. Regarding the Bang Pa-in industrial estate, which used to have a combined workforce of 60,000 people, about 60 to 70 out of the total 90 factories should be able to reopen during the December 1 to 15, the governor said, adding that the industrial estate's compound is nearly 100% dry, so company officials would start cleaning up and working on the resumption of manufacturing activities. State-owned TOT PLC will also install a new telephone exchange of 1,400 numbers and 200 lease lines inside the industrial estate high above the ground so that factories can communicate online with their headquarters in Bangkok and foreign countries. Meanwhile, there are losers and winners in this massive flooding, the country's worst in many decades. For example, housing estates in Bang Bua Thong district of Nonthaburi province in the Rangsit area north of Bangkok have been submerged underwater for the past 1 to 2 months, so both areas are now infamous for residential purpose. One of the gainers in this crisis appears to be large pickup trucks with a high clearance. These vehicles could still be used in some of the flooded areas where the water level is not too high, averaging around 30 to 60 centimeters. The demand for these vehicles is expected to rise after the crisis, while the demand for eco-car or small, ecologically friendly passenger cars earlier promoted by the government may be subdued. Another winner of this crisis is going to be producers of building materials and building contractors who will be flooded with orders for the goods and for repairing services, as hundreds and thousands of houses were damaged by the floods.
And Kunan Onganan, as we know, 7 industrial estates were affected by the floods.
That's
now
right.
we have, let's go take a look at the impact of the floods to the 7 industrial estates in terms of value. Starting here, we see the names of the 7 industrial estates, including Saha Ratananakhon, Rojana, High Tech, Bang Pa-in, Factory Land, Nawanakhon, and Bang Kadi. And in terms of the value of their land and building as well as equipment, the highest in value would be Nawanakhon at 92.6 billion, followed by Rojana at 86.9 billion, and High Tech at around 33 billion.
Well, this is the estate value that the land holds, and that all 7 of them would total about 260 billion.
Right.
And we have the damage on the equipment and the
machineries.
The machineries, the fixed assets. Well, let me point out 3 biggest ones that you just mentioned, Kunvina. The Nawanakhon is the #1 in damage. That's 51.8 billion baht in total. Where Rojana on the second row over there, that's 48.7 billion baht in value. And High Tech, that's 18.6.
Yes, and the damages to the raw materials and their products that they were not able to remove, of course, from the factories, total highest at Nawanakhon at 34.6 billion, followed by Rojana at 25.9, and high tech at 13.4 billion.
Well, we don't really know whether these leftovers or the remaining product value, they could be of use or not. But anyway, the total damage that would be inflicted upon these factories and these industrial estates, the number one is still our Nawanakon, that's 86.5 billion, followed by the Rojana, 74.6 billion, and high tech by 32 billion baht.
Yeah.
And all of the 7 estates together, that's 237.4 billion baht. That's a lot of money to be included. And for our next slide, that we have the 8 most affected provinces, 8 most damaged province. We would have the Chainat, Nakhon Sawan, Nonthaburi, Pathum Thani, Nakhon Si Ayutthaya, Lopburi, Ang Thong, and Uthai Thani. Those are the provinces affected.
And in terms of value of their land, buildings and equipments, the highest is in
Nakhon Si
Ayutthaya, that's right. Followed by in Pathum Thani and Lopburi.
Of course, that would total about 263 billion baht. That would be all 8 provinces altogether. And the next column, we could see similarities right there, totaling 147 in machinery or the stuff that has been damaged. And of course, the leftovers would be a total of 90 billion baht. And that the total damage of all 8 provinces would be total 237.3 billion baht.
And with this flood affecting the industrial estates, of course, the production has to go down, Kun Onganan. And we have in our next slide here, production in Nawanakon seems to be the highest reduction, followed by in Rojana and Bang Pa-in.
Bang Pa-in seems to be the 3rd number. Here we could see about 120 in Nawanakon in the damage, the production value reduction, I'm sorry. And then the Rojana we have about 96 billion and Bang Pa-in 62.2 billion. With all of them together, we have 328 billion, the effect on the value of reduction in production.
And so the source of all this information